All right. Welcome, all you 1,410 subscribers. I am your man, Corb J. And you've all reached the channel that gives you a different spin on trending topics. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to every one of you that support this channel. I am forever and always grateful to every one of you. I thank you so much for your love, your support, for carrying this channel up. So please continue to stay tuned, continue to share the videos and everything that this channel has to offer. So thank you. I do have this important topic that I want to discuss with you all today. You've seen it on the thumbnail. So I want to talk to you guys about what Nigerians are doing that is upsetting a lot of people. Now, this to me is going to be one of those very, very important conversations to have as it relates to Nigerians and as it relates to the way people perceive Nigerians, the type of feelings Nigerians are getting from a lot of people, what Nigerians are contributing to the equation. So we're going to go right into this. This is not going to be a long video, so I'm going to make it very, very short. I'm going to concise this whole thing so you guys can at least get it. But I will make the point right away. So what is it that Nigerians are doing that is causing a lot of people to be upset, or that's upsetting a lot of people? And when I say Nigerians, I'm talking about the people. We're not going to focus on the country. We're talking about the people. If you've been following my channel for a while, you would know that I focus on the people most times. I talk about the psychology behind behavior. I talk about the behavior around the people and demographic. I don't spend too much of my time about the country, okay? The people is who I invest in. Even in my lifetime, I invest in people. I work with people, because ultimately when people have the right mind, or if you're able to repair anything, you want to start with the people. So the people are usually the value on anything. People are the value. Things are not the value. Countries are not the value. People are. So I tend to focus on Nigerian people, because I believe, and many also who focus on people, who invest in people, believe that once you get people and you're able to build people, it's inevitable that the country changes. So we're going to focus on people, Nigerians. What is it that Nigerians are doing, okay, that is causing a lot of people to be upset, okay, and why people are upset with these particular things? One answer is winning. Nigerians are winning. And they're winning not just in one sector. They're winning in a lot of sectors. And this is what's causing a lot of people to be upset at Nigerians. We're all familiar with the success Nigerians are having with afrobeats, right? With the music industry, where now we have people from all over the world, people that are Black, Asians, white, everyone adopting to afrobeat. So that is a huge accomplishment for Nigerians. It didn't come easy. It didn't happen overnight, okay? Nigerians are winning also in movies, right? They're winning in movies. They're not the top yet, but they're winning in movies. In terms of aggregated Black collective group, Nigerians are, okay? There is no other body of Black individual with the size of numbers that we have with Nigerians that are winning in this area. So when I'm talking about these areas, I'm talking about specifically related to the Black race, specifically related to Black people, specifically also related to African people. So anything Black, right? We're talking about that. So these are the areas that Nigerians are winning. I've talked about music, movies. Nigerians are also winning in other aspect of entertainment in terms of concert, largest concert being held. Nigerians own that. So we're talking about, Afro Nation. We're talking about all the other concerts that happen in Lagos. Many of these things that are happening that promote the music industry, as well as festivals. Nigerians own that. So they win in that aspect. So let's put entertainment to the side. Let's talk about all the other things that are non-entertainment also. Education-wise, Nigerians are winning in that area also. You've often heard me say, even on my channel, that even in this country, the United States, where Nigerians stand in terms of when they calculate and look at where Nigerians fall and measure them against both blacks, whites, Hispanics, and Asians. Nigerians are right there at the top. In terms of income distribution, Nigerians also win in that aspect in this country. Okay, Nigerians win in terms of income distribution. It is even believed that Nigerians, when you look at the levels of income and you measure them against all the demographic, you have whites, obviously by share of their population, they out earn everyone. And then right next to that, it's arguably between Asians and Indians in this country, is arguably between the two. Nigerians come right either third or second of that. Okay, Nigerians are right there on that part in terms of median income and in terms of the wages that most Nigerians have in the United States. I don't know what it is in England. I would imagine that's probably the case, but again, I can't speak to that particular location. I can only speak to the United States. In terms of all other sectors that we're seeing Nigerians kind of developing and emerging out of, we're talking about even the tech world. We've talked about how Nigerians are really kind of becoming very, very strong in that area. Also, they haven't emerged to be the top yet, but they're making their way into that area as a demographic or a people that have such strong interest in that field. So these are things that Nigerians are doing. Now, why is this upsetting a lot of people? Okay, so that's what I want to focus on, because when you hear many people talk about Nigerians, there's a sense of animosity. There's a sense of vitriol against Nigerians. And usually those type of vitriol and animosity are reserved for people that aren't doing any of these things, right? That's naturally what you'll find. If you are not performing at best, if you are not carrying your weight, if you are not, you're a burden to society, if you are the type of person that is just lazy or one of those things, these are the kind of people that the kind of feelings or the type of attitude are usually reserved for. They're certainly not for people that are winning. They don't reserve that type of behavior for people that are winning, right? People that are winning are celebrated. People that are winning are put on a pedestal, or they're remembered. They're certainly not. They're not hated, for lack of a better word. They certainly are not. But we find this with Nigerians, and I want to deal with it, because I think that it's important for Nigerians all over the world to realize this. You see, one thing in terms of success, there are two things with success that you may very well know, and if you don't, you probably will get it here now. There's two things with success. It's one thing to be successful. It's another thing to keep the success, to maintain success. And if you don't understand some of the attributes that go with success, or some of those things that the characteristics around being successful, you're not going to hold on to it. And one of the problem with Africans, when I mean Africa, I'm talking about all the countries in Africa. Africa is a continent now, or black people, I should say, as a whole, is that we don't know how to maintain and keep our success. We don't know how to have that successful streak last for 100 years. We don't. You often find a lot of black people, many of black race, that would obtain success in a certain field, but to keep and hold on to it, that is a different thing. That is something that the West has mastered. The West know how to maintain their success. They know how to be successful, and they know how to keep it. It's a lot of things that go with being successful. Okay, that's why you'll find in the West and around the countries in the West You find companies that have existed for 100 years. You find banks that have existed way back in the days of slavery, 100 years, and they're still existing today. Okay, there's a science and an art behind that. Okay, it's not easy to keep your position because there's going to be all these external forces, both internally and external forces, that will try to take that position from you. But it is important for you to understand how to hold your position as a successful entity or a successful people. So I wanted to have this conversation because I think it's important for Nigerians, while you are making your rounds and you're making your way around the world and you're becoming a noticeable success in these areas that I've talked about, to also understand how to keep it. But more importantly, understand and realize some of the personalities around you and know how to partner or take certain things along with you. So let's talk about this success, and let's talk about the fact that there are many people that hate on the success of Nigerians, or that somehow are displeased with it. Okay, I use these words, and I'll tell you why I'm using these words, but why we shouldn't use these words in terms of hate. Okay, hate would be one of the operative words that I would like to kind of deal with in this conversation. Okay, so let's talk about it now. Afrobeat, Nollywood, the educational sector, the tech world, the way Nigerians are living. These are things that have made Nigerians a pride. And these are things that Nigerians, if you don't know about this already, you should know this. And I don't know if most of you know this. Okay. These are areas that Nigerians are winning in these areas. Okay. As it relates to the black race. Okay. These are areas. There is no other country. There's no other country today, in terms of as a collective, as a body of people that are winning in any of these areas as Nigerians are. There's none. There's no other country. That's not to put down any country. That's not to say anything bad. I'm just talking about in terms of factual data, statistical data analysis, right? There's no other country that is emerging, or at least that is undeniable in terms of when you put out statistics and put out numbers and there's no other. No one will argue with you on this. If you're arguing it, then you just want to be arguing because you are uneducated in this area. There is none. Not to say that it couldn't change tomorrow. It could change tomorrow, right? But we're talking about the present moment as it relates to black. Okay, these areas I've talked about, there is no other country. Okay, now it's important for Nigerians to not become too arrogant with this. Okay, it's important for you to understand that your success, you should be celebrated. Your success needs to be, you need to really be, you need to bask in that success. You need to bask in that glory. You need to celebrate. You need to shout it up from the mountaintop. You need to do all of that. But at the same time, while you are doing that, you should not put anyone down or any other country down because you are on top. Okay, so there's a difference between celebrating your success and celebrating you being Nigerian and celebrating all the accomplishment that you are currently having. But it's important that in that celebration that you do not put anyone down. What I mean by that is using words like, oh, we're better than you type of thing, right? Because you're not, right? Nigerians are not better than any of the other African countries, are not better than any of the non-African countries, not. Okay? So celebrate the success, recognize it, and be confident in it, bask in it. At the same time, don't put down other people. Now, I want to address some of the things that I'm seeing out there as it relates to the feelings that people have towards the success of Nigerians. I want to talk about the different other countries as well as other black race that hate on Nigerians. I want to address this, all right? And I want to talk about that. But more importantly, I want to use that as a way to enlighten Nigerians on how to read a lot of that, because most times we read that and we're using words like hate to describe those feelings against Nigerians, right? And I want to caution you not to do that, because I've seen few things floating around as it relates to when countries aren't celebrating with us, when they are, as I mentioned when I first started, the feelings that we're getting from that not so friendly feelings that you're getting from people that are not Nigerians, people that are outside of Nigeria, and we're using words like, hate to describe those things. I want to deal with that today. And I want to use an experiment to describe that. And I want to use the experiment of 20 monkeys, right? And a banana to describe that. This particular experiment should not be confused with the 5-monkey experiment, right? For those of you that are familiar with that experiment, this is not to be confused with it, but this is similar to that. So here's an experiment that I want to pose to you to describe and to explain a lot of the things that I'm talking about in terms of hate and in terms of the feelings that you're getting from countries in Africa about your success. So there are 12 monkeys that are put in a particular location. These monkeys were left for about 20 minutes and they were observed. And within that 20 minutes, these monkeys, walked around this location. Some played, some slept, some really kind of, toggle back and forth in a friendly manner, playful thing for 20 minutes. That went on. Right after that, a researcher comes in and introduces a banana to the equation, to the element. So the researcher walks in and has a noticeable banana which he uses to gain the attention of these 20 monkeys. Upon gazing their eyes and their sight on the bananas, and once the researcher was aware that they're fixed on this banana, he further takes this banana to the highest ground of that location. So he makes it known that he's taking this banana and plants it on the highest ground of that location. So these monkeys are watching him doing this, and they see him put that banana on the top part of this location, hangs it up, comes right back down and goes away. Few minutes later, the observation with these monkeys, again, these monkeys don't represent anyone, okay? So let me go ahead and say these monkeys don't represent, a country. They don't represent, as far as in this experiment, they don't represent people. They could very well be the pride of lions. They could very well be the pride of hyenas. It could very well be anyone for this experiment. But right now, we're using monkeys. Okay, so right after he leaves, the monkeys are looking around. A few minutes after he leaves, they're looking at each other. They're gazing at that banana. And then 5 minutes later, you find one monkey making his way or her way, towards climbing up to get the banana. And then a second and a third. And then you see these activities moving, beginning to occur. And all of a sudden, there was now movement that now turned into scuffle, now turned into more scuffle. And there's a huge toggle going on between and amongst these monkeys, I should say. And it's basically a toggle for the banana, because everyone wants to get it. And so there's all that going on. It goes on for 20 minutes with the back and forth, with the pulling down, with the toggle, with the activities, with the grabbing, with all of that, to where a particular monkey emerges as the winner, breaks through all of that struggle to get the banana. And that monkey stays right up there for fear of coming back down, eats the banana, enjoys his prize or her prize, eats that, but stays right up there for fear of coming back down. But when this particular monkey looks back down to the herd that's left behind notices the, the chauvin, the anger, the moving things around and all of that as an expression of their animosity towards the fact that this monkey got that banana and the rest of them did not. Now, the question I have for you all today watching me, when you consider the behavior that is currently going on now with those monkeys in terms of the anger, the animosity, and all of that, is that hate towards that particular monkey that gained the banana? And is that racism? Is that hate? Or is that racism? What the feelings and the behavior of these other monkeys towards the winner of that gained the banana? Okay, so that is the question. Now, if you say it is hate, if you say it is racism, I would say that you are wrong. It is neither one. It is not racism, because the definition of racism, for those of you that may or may not know, is basically the act of denying someone economic opportunity on the basis of their skin color. That's racism. When you're in a position to deny someone any economic opportunity based on their identity, based on their skin color, based on their background, that would be called racism. In this situation, that is not the case, because they were all monkeys and they were all afforded the same opportunity. One just emerged the winner. So that wouldn't apply here. Is it hate? It isn't hate either. For hate to be put in the equation, or for hate to be used in this situation, hate is something that has to have existed from the beginning of the situation. Okay, that would be hate. And also, hate doesn't exist when it involves a collection or the same class of people. Okay, you can't use hate to describe an unpleasant, unfriendly type of gesture. It isn't also hate because, remember, in the beginning, before the banana was introduced to the element, these monkeys were all playing, right? They were all playing, they were all friendly, they were all hanging around, okay? So is it now hate because something was introduced into the equation? No, it's not. I also want to use to describe, to help you understand why it isn't hate either. If you think about your family members, think about people you were born into, your brothers, your sisters, your family of 4, 5, 6. Would you say your family, your sister hates you, or your brother hates you because you fell out of love, or they fell out of love with you, or you both fell out of love with each other? Would any of you use the word hate to describe your feelings towards your family members? No, you wouldn't. Most of you would not. Most of you would not say you hate your sister because you had a quarrel. Most of you would not say you hate your brother or your sisters hate you, or most of you would not. Okay? Because you have the same family line. You have the same collection of body. You have the same location. Lineage. So hate is not what that is. And which is why this experiment is very interesting. Okay. Now, what that is, and what most of you experience, and most of you at times, is what you call competitive animosity. Okay. It's important for you to understand this, because as Nigerians are making their way and as they're emerging, okay, as Nigerians are clearly becoming winners of these different fields that we've just talked about, as Nigerians earn that banana, right? The other countries or the other group of people who didn't make it, it is important that you do not look at them and use words like hate to describe their disappointment or their expression of non-friendly attitude towards your success. Case in point, countries like Ghana, countries like Kenya, countries like Cameroon, countries like Zambia, These countries that have expressed a type of displeasure and have even gone as far as taking action against Nigeria in terms of calling for a ban in 2021, in 2020 against Nigerians. That action isn't hate. Ghana and these countries don't hate Nigerians. It's not possible. At least that's what I like to believe. It is a competitive animosity. It is a human behavior that everyone exhibits based on a competitive sport. And I think it's important for Nigerians to understand this, because you don't want to be arrogant. You don't want to use words like that, because when you introduce hate to the equation, you essentially make those people your enemy, because that's what hate does. Hate intends, that's what hate is. When you introduce hate, when you say this person hates me, what that essentially now becomes is that this person is my enemy, right? And that's rightfully so once hate is introduced into the equation. Okay? And so Ghana, Nigerians don't hate each other. Ghana, Kenyans don't hate each other. Ghana, Nigerians should not see Ghana as a hateful country. Neither should Ghana see Nigeria as a hateful country. What Ghana and many of these countries are feeling, it is a sense of competitive animosity. It's a natural phenomenon. It's a natural feeling that any human being faces when they did not gain the banana. It's a sense of disappointment that we all feel. It's kind of like when you when I was growing up, I competed in sports. I did track and field, and this is back home when I was growing up back home, and I remembered, and I was in a particular house. And if you grew up back home like I did, they have different clubhouses. So you have the red house, you have the yellow house, you have the green, and you have the blue house. You have 4 color houses that you can belong to in terms of in the sporting arena. I was in the yellow house, right? And I was one of the fastest runners. I ran sprint 200 meters. I did 400 meters huddles, as well as track and field. I won some, I lost some. Now, when I remember growing up, and I remembered when I would lose, this is my early stages, I would pout, I would get upset, I would get mad, and I don't want to talk to anybody. And I would just, that feeling of loss is not a good feeling. We've all had it at one point in our life. It's not a good feeling. And I would get upset. And I remembered my coach, which is a woman, and I remember her name very well too. We used to call her Aunt Ngozi. I remember she would pull me aside and tell me to fix my face and suck it up. And she would say stuff like, "You won yesterday. You won last week. And now that you didn't win, you want to throw a temper tantrum? Fix your face." And she would really chastise me during that moment. And she would encourage me to understand how to accept defeat. She was teaching me a lesson. And she would talk to me, and right after she talked to me, she would say, "Now go out there and go shake everyone's hand and congratulate the winners, because they did the same for you when you won last week." And so I would go out there and I would do that. And on, I learned how to accept defeat when I got defeated and how to bask in my glory when I got successful. Now, why am I saying that? I'm saying this in the sense that Nigerians have, in times in the past, have been defeated. And Nigerians have maybe not acted civil when they were defeated. And many times they acted civil also. So we've had both times. Now the Nigerians are on top in terms of these areas that we're succeeding in. There are going to be people, and we're seeing it in other countries, who have not learned how to handle defeat. They haven't learned. No one has taught them. This is things that you get to be taught by either your parents, your teachers, your mentors. Someone teaches you how to handle defeat, how to channel your feelings towards that, and how to work harder. So that way you can then in turn become the success tomorrow. So here's the message. Here's the message that we have for Nigerians is that you enjoy your success. You enjoy your afrobeat success. You enjoy it. You enjoy your Nollywood success. You enjoy your education achievement. You enjoy all of that. Enjoy it. Shout it in the mountaintop. Enjoy it because you work hard for it. It is not easy to break away from the herd and earn the banana. It is not easy. It is not easy. More importantly, it is not easy in the face of when everyone else has put you down in the past. It is not easy. Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. But at the same time, enjoy it, but not at the detriment of your character, not at the detriment of who you are, and not as an excuse to put anyone else down. Not as an excuse to look down on any other race or any other body of people. That is my advice to you. And don't also call and use the word hate to describe the challenges or the non-friendly gesture you're getting from Ghana, from Kenyans, or from any other African countries that may not celebrate with you, right? The way you would like to be celebrated. They don't hate you. Ghana does not hate Nigeria. Ghana is Nigerians' brother. Kenyans are Nigerians' brothers and sisters. All these countries are your brothers and sisters. They are not your enemy. They're your competitors. They're not your enemy. Now, to those other countries, my advice would be for you to learn how to accept defeat, but learn to channel that properly. Learn to be better. Learn to, improve on your skills, because tomorrow it would be you. Tomorrow it could be you. So learn that, so that way as we're moving as a body, we understand that there's always good power dynamic is always going to shift from one person to another. Not one person does not own it all and will never own it all. So the power dynamic will always shift. But understand that we are still a class of people and we're still a race of the same body and of the same family. That is a unity that really spans and survives. That would be my advice for that, because as a citizen of Africa, right, as a citizen of the black race, my goal is to be a unifier. My goal is to make sure that while I am promoting my country, right, my loyalty will be to my people, will be Nigerians, but at the same time, I am also promoting the interest of the African body, because at the end of the day, I am a citizen of the continent. So I wanted to do this video because I have seen a lot of that going on, and I just wanted to more so, caution Nigerians to learn how to manage their success, because it's one thing to be successful, it's another thing to maintain your success, and understand that you are going to need the presence of all of these people as you make your journey to success. That's how you're going to maintain the success. But knowing fully well who your enemies are and who your allies are. These are your family. These are your peoples. These are not your enemies. And these are not people that have hatred towards you. All right, so that's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you like to. Like the video, and I'll see you all.
Det finns ingen annan där som kan stå här by my side, oh why. Sättet du rör på det får mig att dö för dig baby. För de här yardis, de vill ju bara dra ner oss. Men du är fett och vanlig. På det jag lägger av min tid, jag vill ha dig. Du får mig känna safety. Jag kan nog leda baby, och jag kommer aldrig ändra mig.